The new era Land Rover Defender brings the design of this legendary Solihull model bang up to date. Despite the modern tech, it remains as solid and uncompromising as it's always been, with off-road ability to worry a Challenger tank. Approach it as an alternative to modern luxury SUVs, and somehow you miss the point. Buy a Discovery for that. Here instead is the hardest wearing, most capable and most cost-effective proper off-roader that sensible money will buy.
So here it is, the new era Land Rover Defender, the reinvention of an icon at last that's charmed us for over 70 years. It's a 4x4, not an SUV, says Land Rover, and the distinction's important. In terms of capability, this is the real deal. So, what's it like? Well, not like an old Defender, that's for sure, although you still sit high in a position where both wings are visible, so despite the substantial size, there's a proper feeling of command. The only jungle that comprehensively defeated this model's classic predecessor was the urban one, but there are no such issues here, and that's thanks to the replacement of the previous solid ladder-framed chassis and solid axles with a unitary platform and a much more sophisticated suspension setup, which can be air-sprung, and that's a standard feature on this lengthier 110 model. Traction is excellent in all tarmac conditions, and that's courtesy of an all-wheel drive setup that works through an intelligent driveline system which continually varies axle torque based on sensor data from vehicle surroundings and driver inputs. Of course, the rumbly refinement of the old model is banished to history too. That's thanks to the installation of a range of modern power plants, most of which include some form of electrification. An MHEV mild hybrid system embellishes the 3-litre 6-cylinder diesel units that many will want, available in D200, D250 and D300 states of tune. In terms of WLTP rated efficiency stats, a typical D250 derivative like this one manages 32 miles per gallon on the combined cycle and 232 grams per kilometre of CO2. The MHEV setup also features in the rare flagship P400X 6-cylinder petrol performance model. There is also a conventional P300 4-cylinder 2-litre petrol variant. That same basic 2-litre petrol engine also features in the novel P400E plug-in hybrid version, where it's mated to a 105 kilowatt electric motor powered by a 19.2 kilowatt hour lithium-ion battery. The result is a 404 PS total output and a potential WLTP rated all-electric driving range of up to 27 miles. All mainstream models can tow up to 3.5 tonnes. Whatever variant you choose, though, the story here isn't really about stats, unless, of course, they're off-roading ones. This Defender rides 291 millimetres from terra firma. It can wade up to 900 mils of water. It has an approach angle of up to 38 degrees, a departure angle of up to 40 degrees, and it can traverse 45-degree slopes. Facilitating all of this is an astonishingly stiff D7X structure and, of course, a proper twin-speed transfer box with low range ratios. A terrain response off-piste driving mode system allows you to set the car up for the kind of surface you'll be travelling over, and that's a setup that's upgradable if you opt for the extra cost advanced off-road capability pack. And that also includes an all-terrain progress control setup and Land Rover's configurable terrain response package, and that allows you to tailor the kind of off-road traction that you want. This new Defender, says designer Jerry McGovern, is respectful of its past, but not harnessed by it. This, he says, is a Defender for a new age. Tough and approachable, durable but stylish. Lots of design cues ensure model line continuity, things like squared off wheel arches, super short front and rear overhangs, and so-called alpine light narrow windows set into a roof that, as here, can be white coloured, just like the old County models. As with the old Defender, it's possible to buy both 3 and 5-door body shapes, and to keep some historical continuity as before, these are badged 90 and 110 respectively. Right, let's take a look inside. It's relatively unlikely that many customers for this modern-day Defender will have had any previous experience in the original version, so there was no real need for interior design continuity, which is fine because this new era model sets its own cabin standards with fascia design based around this exposed colour customisable magnesium alloy crossbeam, under which, in a nod to the old car, runs a full-width dash shelf. The main controls, including the Pivi Pro central infotainment touchscreen, are housed within this frame, and just below it there's this middle panel from which protrudes a stubby auto gear lever, and that's positioned next to the various off-road and ventilation controls. The 10-inch central screen, which incorporates 3D navigation, full smartphone mirroring and software over-the-air technology, is one of several that can be specified. Most Defenders will also have this 12.3-inch interactive driver display, customisable instrument binnacle screen. And the available clear sight option also enables you to add a rear-view camera image into the rear-view mirror. The surfaces, even the soft touch ones, are of the wipe clean kind, and the pedal box still welcomes wellies. Plus, there's loads of cabin storage space for just about anything that you might want to carry. As an option, you can specify an extra little jump seat between these front chairs, although annoyingly not on this 110 model if you've also gone for the extra cost fold-out pews in the boot. Let's take a seat in the second row. Now, if you care about this issue at all, you'll have opted for the lengthier 110 model like this one. The shorter 90 body shape doesn't have rear side doors, so with that variant, you'll have to fold forward the front chairs and squeeze past them, although the aperture provided for that is reasonably generous. Of course, with this 110 model, access is much more convenient, and it's aided by the way that the air suspension system's elegant arrival feature automatically lowers the body by 40mm to aid entry. And inside, well, in this 110 series Defender, it's as spacious on this rear bench as you'd hope a 4.75 metre long family 4x4 would be, with loads of head and legroom. Plus, thanks to the wide body and this impressively low central transmission tunnel, it'd be quite possible to fit 3 adults in here with reasonable elbow room. That's enough on the second row. If you're choosing this 110 model with the family in mind, think carefully about whether it's really necessary to pay the extra £1,700 that the brand wants for the family pack that'll get you 2 more seats in the boot. We haven't got those here. The chairs in question are of the thin, rather uncomfortable fold-out variety. They aren't especially easy to access from here, and they'll only really work for uncomplaining kids. Let's finish with a look out back. Now, Land Rover may have reinvented this Defender for a new era, but it couldn't bring itself to dispense with the old model's rear-mounted spare wheel and side-opening tailgate. It's the same as you'll get on a Mercedes G-Class or a Toyota Land Cruiser. If the extra boot-mounted chairs were fitted here and they were upright, there'd be only 160 litres of space. That would be enough only for a few shopping bags, but with this 5-seat 110 model, the cargo bay is quite cavernous, 919 mils of floor space length, allowing for a 786 litre total dry capacity, which for reference is 136 litres less than a Discovery could take. The alternative Defender 90 body style obviously has less luggage space. There's 397 litres on offer there. Now, if you have to fold everything flat, the chairs don't actually fold completely flat. Up to 1,875 litres of dry capacity will be available to you in this 110 model. With everything folded in a Defender 90, it's 1,563 litres. Land Rover has reinvented the Defender for a new era without allowing this model to lose its iconic feel and legendary off-road ability. Now, the amount of time this car spent in development suggests how difficult it must have been to achieve this, but we think many will very much like the end result. Like its predecessor, this Defender effectively operates in a virtual class of one. It's a vehicle which is exempt from the usual rules of assessment. The style is unique. It'll embarrass just about any other SUV off-road, and it'll probably outlast you. If you want the real deal, then there really is no substitute. As we said at the beginning, everything's changed, but ultimately nothing's really very different. Thank goodness for that.